the blood supply of CNS. The main focus was on the blood supply of the spinal cord. And what were the sources of the blood supply of the spinal cord? The major supply it was via the branches which were arising from the vertebral artery, isn't it? That is the anterior spinal artery, the posterior spinal artery, and the reinforcement arteries given by the segmental branches, isn't it? So we will move upwards. That means basilar system. Today we will discuss a very important nomenclature. Have you imagined the Namaste pattern over here? Namaste pattern of what? Vertebral artery. The folded hands, you imagine this is the part of the basilar artery and this is the vertebral artery, isn't it? So this folded hands, the Namaste pattern, it is of vertebro-basilar system inside the cranial cavity, okay, for the blood supply of the brain. So we have discussed all about this is the medulla oblongata here, isn't it? This is the pyramid, this is the olive, and here it is what? Here it is the pons, this is the median sulcus or the basilar sulcus of what? Pons. And above it is the midbrain here. Midbrain, then pons, then medulla oblongata. And the vertebral artery, how it was running? Anterolaterally over the medulla and runs in the midline and forms a single trunk which is known as what? Basilar artery, isn't it? So this is the basilar artery. Now tell me below upwards. Below upwards, what would be the branches of the basilar artery? Anyone? Below upwards. Till here we have discussed in the previous class. Now from here, this is the lower part of the pons and this is the upper part of the pons, or you can say the lower border or the upper border of the pons. The basilar artery is only up to this space. Okay, so what are the branches here? Below up, the first branch is yes, anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So you should draw a diagram again of what? Cerebellum, isn't it? You have to draw a diagram for the cerebellum here. Okay, so anterior-inferior cerebellar artery will arise from the lower border of the pons on both the sides, which is known as what? Aika, and it will supply what? This is the anterior aspect and this is the posterior aspect of the cerebellum. Okay, so this is the anterior-inferior cerebellar artery, or you can say Aika. What is this? Aika. What was Pica? It was an artery which was arising from the which artery? Vertebral artery, isn't it? Vertebral artery was giving origin to the pica, the artery which was supplying the posterior-inferior aspect of the cerebellum. This artery. But Aika, it is supplying the anterior-inferior aspect of the cerebellum. Okay. What relation is important with Aika or the anterior-inferior cerebellar artery? Look, this part, it is the junction of pons and the medulla oblongata ventral aspect, isn't it? So medial to lateral, what are the cranial nerves which emerges from this junction? Anyone? Very important nerves are there. 6, 7, 8 cranial nerve. Very good. That is the origin of nerves here. From this junction, the 6, the 7 and the 8 cranial nerve. And 5th and the 7th and the 8th arises from the junction of the pontomedullary junction, isn't it? And this Aika, it traverses on the superficial to these 3 cranial nerves. Okay? 6, 7 and 8. Ventral to this cranial nerve. Okay? And supplies the cerebellum. Correct? Now, just superior, above to this Aika or anterior-inferior cerebellar artery. What is that? the most important branch here, which will be related with these two cranial nerves. Very good. The labyrinthine artery. What artery arises just above this? A long slender branch arises from the basilar artery. It has a long course, and along with this 7th and 8th cranial nerve, where it goes. What is this? Internal auditory meatus, isn't it? The 7th cranial nerve and the 8th cranial nerve. 7th is the facial and the 8th is the vestibulocochlear. Two components, vestibule and the cochlea. So this is the internal auditory meatus. Look here, where you will get this meatus? Here. That is the posterior surface of the petrous part. Here this is the internal opening, an opening here that is known as the internal auditory meatus. So from the brainstem is here, pontomedullary junction, and it will go where? Inside the internal auditory meatus. So this is the labyrinthine artery. Which artery is this? Labyrinthine. Okay, labyrinthine artery it is. And this artery, it is the end artery. Okay, I will explain you what is end artery here in this class. So labyrinthine artery, it is an end artery. What else? Just above, after that, just above, because this artery, very good, this artery itself lies over the basilar sulcus of the pons, and it is named so as the basilar artery, so it has got the responsibility to supply the pons also. Okay, so it will arise, give some branches by its name. What are these small branches? These are the pontine branches. Smaller branches which arises, these are the pontine branches, especially for the pons itself. Okay. The third, first it is the ica, the second it is the labyrinthine artery, the third it is the pontine branches for the pons itself. Then move upwards towards the superior border of the pons. Which branch? Mind it. Superior cerebellar or superior cerebral? Don't get confused with the nomenclature, because you have described inferior, anterior and the posterior aspect of the arteries related with the cerebellum. Now on the lower border of pons, we are moving towards the upper surface, upper border of the pons. Now go for the superior cerebellar artery, isn't it? The artery which is arising just above the pontine. Which artery is this? Which artery? It is the, and this artery, superior cerebellar artery, isn't it? It will supply the superior aspect of the cerebellum. This is the superior surface. Look here, this is the superior surface of the cerebellum. Okay, and the superior surface of the cerebellum, it is supplied by a special branch. For the superior surface, there is only one artery. Okay, that is the superior cerebellar artery. This is the superior cerebellar artery. Okay, superior cerebellar artery. Now, this superior cerebellar artery, it is supplying the superior aspect of this cerebellum. What other structure will be supplied by this superior cerebellar artery? Imagine what are the other structures which are closely related here in the brainstem. What is this? This is the part of midbrain. Okay. So this superior cerebellar artery, it will supply the pons also, cerebellum also, and also to the midbrain. Isn't it? Also to the midbrain. And a very important structure. Anyone? that is supplied by the superior cerebellar artery, and that picture, that diagram, that is on the dorsal aspect of this brainstem. That is the diamond shaped area that is known as the fourth ventricle. Have you heard the name of fourth ventricle? Yes or no? That is the, look here. Look here. This is the sagittal section. This is the midbrain. This is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata here. The posterior aspect or the dorsal aspect, what is there? Here it is what? This diamond shape, or here you will get the tent shaped, because this is a sagittal view section of the brainstem along with the fourth ventricle here. Okay, so what you will see, this is the superior roof, part of the roof, and this is the inferior part of the roof. It is not like that. Cross section you will see it is like this. Okay, so this is the superolateral and this is the inferolateral part of the roof of the fourth ventricle, and in the sagittal section it is like this. Anteriorly, the floor it is formed by the pons and the open part of the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata open part forms the floor of the fourth ventricle, isn't it? Now, this fourth ventricle, it has got this boundary and the two parts. This is bounded by either side by the superior cerebellar peduncle, and here it is bounded by the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So, roof it is in between the two parts, the two limbs, there is a curtain-like structure which is known as superior medullary velum. What it is known as? Superior medullary velum. And here it is the inferior medullary velum. Velum means curtain-like structure. Okay, so superior medullary velum, it is joining the medial border of the superior cerebellar peduncle and the inferior medullary velum. It will lies between the medial border of the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Okay, so this superior cerebellar superior medullary velum, it will also supplied by the superior cerebellar artery. Okay, because here on the dorsal aspect you will see there is the pons, here it is the medulla oblongata and the cerebellum. Okay, cerebellum here it is. So the artery which is supplying the superior aspect of this cerebellum will take the charge also to supply the superior medullary velum. Okay, a very important question which is asked in objective also. Now, a very important cranial nerve which is often asked in relation with this superior medullary velum, which the cranial nerve which emerges on the dorsal aspect of the brainstem. Anyone? Yes, fourth cranial nerve. The fourth cranial nerve, that is the trochlear nerve, it pierces the superior medullary velum and goes dorsally. That's why in two senses you have to remember this superior medullary velum. Where it lies? It lies in between the upper part of the roof of the fourth ventricle and the inferior medullary velum. It is joining the inferior aspect of the roof of the fourth ventricle. Okay. Now, this was the superior cerebellar artery. Now, just above to this superior cerebellar artery, what else? What else?
Posterior cerebral artery.
Posterior cerebral artery. Posterior cerebellar or cerebral. Now we are moving towards the inferior aspect of the brain. Suppose this is the part of the brainstem. This is the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, and here the brain is anteroposterior, it is like this. Okay, so once we are moving upwards, we are reaching towards the surface of the brain. and here at the junction of this area which we will discuss here, that is known as interpeduncular fossa, where a very important structure we will discuss in this lecture, that is the circle of Willis. Okay, the main asset, the main topic of this blood supply of brain, it is related with the circle of Willis, how it is formed. Now the upper border, there is again one branch which is known as the posterior cerebral artery. What is this? That is the posterior cerebral artery. Okay, posterior cerebral artery, and this was the superior cerebellar artery. Okay, isn't it? Right now we have discussed about the fourth cranial nerve. Clear है? We have discussed about the fourth cranial nerve, which is on the dorsal aspect of the brain stem. After piercing the superior medullary column, it comes back. So this space, that means at the upper border of the basilar pons and the midbrain, there is a branch which arises from the basilar artery, that is known as the posterior cerebral artery. This, now the nomenclature is here, it is cerebral. Now look, all the nomenclatures are changing. Just we are moving upwards from the cerebellar, the nomenclature has been changed to the cerebral. Now we will discuss the blood supply of the cerebral hemisphere, and this branch, that is the posterior cerebral artery, it is arising from the basilar artery at the junction of the midbrain and the pons, that is towards the upper border of the pons, isn't it? And a very important structure which is asked in viva, objective, which cranial nerves in the interval between these two, posterior cerebral artery and the superior cerebellar artery, which cranial nerve lies? Third cranial nerve. Third cranial nerve, it is emerging in between the posterior cerebral artery and the superior cerebellar artery. And the fourth cranial nerve, it emerges on the dorsal aspect of the brainstem. Okay, now just we will move upward. This was the medulla oblongata, pons, the midbrain. Okay, now which structure is lying here? There is a very important nomenclature that is known as the interpeduncular fossa. What I have said, interpeduncular fossa. Fossa, where it is situated? Look here. Interpeduncular fossa, it is situated more or less this area. There the brain will rest. This is the base of the skull, and this is the sphenoid bone. This is the anterior glenoid process. This is the optic canal, isn't it? So around this area, there is an area of the brain which is known as the interpeduncular fossa. Have you read that interpeduncular fossa? What are the boundaries? That is very important in understanding the circle of Willis, because the circle of Willis, where itself it is situated in this interpeduncular fossa. This was the story, the Namaste pattern of the vertebro-basilar system. It is only up to this. Okay, basilar artery. Now comes what? Interpeduncular fossa region above that, isn't it? And what are the structures there? And how it was one of the pair artery, vertebral artery, that was going to supply the brain and the spinal cord. Now there should be the role of the internal carotid now. And we have discussed previously the internal carotid artery. It is going inside the cranial cavity via the external opening of the carotid canal, isn't it? Here it is the external opening of the carotid canal, isn't it? And it will reach in the middle cranial fossa, and it will run where? In the carotid sulcus. We have discussed all in the cavernous sinus. And it will come out after piercing which structure? We have read the cavernous sinus. After piercing the roof of the cavernous sinus, this internal carotid artery comes out and comes where? This is the anterior clinoid process, just medial to that. Look here. This is the anterior clinoid process, this one, and this artery, internal carotid artery, after piercing the roof of the cavernous sinus, it will come out and lies medial to that, and it will do what? It will take a bend like this, antero-posteriorly here, after piercing the dura and arachnoid. Why? Because again it has to come in which space? In the subarachnoid space, isn't it? So that's why it will pierce the dura and arachnoid here, but here it will change its pattern, it will bend posteriorly, and when you will do the cerebral angiography, it is known as the carotid siphon. It is known as this bending, the U-shaped loop of the internal carotid artery. In the cerebral angiogram, it is known as the carotid siphon. Why the internal carotid artery bends backwards? Anyone?
And to reduce the pressure.
Yes, to reduce the pressure. Very good. To reduce, because you imagine it is the coming from where? Common carotid artery dividing in here in the external and the internal carotid artery. And for your knowledge, this internal carotid artery, through this artery 30% of the carotid blood flows. Okay, so such a high pressure inside this artery is, so it will run backwards so that to equalize the pressure, to minimize the pressure here. Okay, that's why. And what else? Now you will draw a diagram here. What is this? Optic. What I have drawn here? What is this?
Optic tract.
Optic.
Optic chiasma.
This is optic chiasma. Very good. Look here. This structure where how you will say? Here it is the optic canal. Suppose there it is the optic canal through which the optic nerve is passing, second cranial nerve along with an artery. Anyone? Yes, very good. That we will discuss here. Ophthalmic artery. Okay. So this is the optic canal, and the chiasma it is forming here in this very part. So I will draw a diagram here. This is the part of the optic chiasma here. Okay, and what is this? A diamond-shaped area it is formed. Interpeduncular fossa, it is nothing but a diamond-shaped area at the base of the brain. Okay, which is bonded here. You will see. What is this? This is pons here. Okay, this is pons. Posteriorly, this interpeduncular fossa, I will write here interpeduncular fossa. It is bonded posteriorly by the upper border of the pons and anteriorly by the starting of the medial sagittal fissure of the cerebral hemisphere, isn't it? Here two halves of the cerebrum are there, and from where this medial sagittal fissure will arise, it is the anterior boundary of it. Okay. Now, what are the structures which are lying here in the interpeduncular fossa? Anyone? And anterolaterally in the posterolaterally, what is this? Anterolateral here and the posterolateral. This is what? This is the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve, both the sides. This is the optic tract, both the sides. This is the optic tract, this one. And what is this?
Internal capsule map.
What is this? Just above the, I am saying what? This is the upper border of pons. So this part was of what? Midbrain. Midbrain. So see, this is the cerebral peduncle, isn't it? This is the part. Posterolateral boundary is formed by the cerebral peduncle. So in case cerebral Now, there are some important structure here that is not the topic of concern, but still you must know. There are lamellar bodies. Here it is the infundibulum. Here it is the tuber ciliarium. This is very important topic. On this topic you are asked short notes, interpeduncular fossa. We have discussed here because the circle of Willis, the distribution pattern, mind it what I am saying, the distribution pattern, how the brain gets its blood supply from which, what is the station where the major arteries will meet each other, that station, that is the circle of Willis, is situated in the interpeduncular fossa. Okay, that's why this reason becomes important here. You must know what are the associated area around this part, interpeduncular fossa, and how it is related with the brainstem. Okay. Now, posterior cerebral artery, it has been originated from the upper part of the basilar artery. Okay. Now, the story will start off which artery, which paired artery? Internal carotid artery. Okay. Till now we have discussed the parts, the branches of the vertebro-basilar system. 5 branches of the vertebral artery, 5 branches of the basilar artery, isn't it? Now we will discuss the story of the internal carotid artery. We have seen how the internal carotid artery is entering inside the cranial cavity via the carotid canal. At the medial side of the anterior crinoid process, it bends posteriorly, and there it lies. Here a very important structure lies, just lateral to this oblique iama. What is structure? That is in pairs. That structure is in pairs. What that structure is known as? Anterior perforating substance. Anterior perforating substance is in pair. Okay, anterior perforating substance. There should be a posterior also. Where it is situated, this posterior, look here. The posterior perforating substance, it is situated just anterior to the pons and in between this cerebral peduncle. Isn't it? So this is the posterior perforating substance. Now, we have written here and here anteriorly and posteriorly placed. These are 3 perforating substances. What are these substances? In the previous class we have discussed about that. It is nothing but what? A sheet of grey matter. It is a sheet of grey matter, which is, these sheets of the grey matter would be pierced by the central branches. Central branches of the circle of Willis. Why? Because these central branches are supposed to supply the deeper structures of the brain. That's why, and the circle of Willis, it lies in between the cranial cavity and the brain itself. So it has to penetrate this substance and then it will supply to the deeper aspect of the brain. What are the examples of the deeper structures? Anyone? What are the deeper structures inside the brain? For this, the nomenclature is coming. Basal ganglia or the corpus striatum. Okay. You better use the nomenclature corpus striatum. Corpus striatum. From where you are getting these striate branches. What else? Internal capsule is there. What else? Thalamus is there. Geniculate bodies are there. Okay. So, pineal gland is situated posteriorly. So, these are the deeper structures. Corpus striatum, internal capsule, thalamus, geniculate bodies, pineal gland. So these deeper structures, how they will get their blood supply? Look here. Just concentrate on this diagram. Now, here lies what? Which artery is coming here? After piercing the medial side of the dura mater of the anterior crinoid process, the internal carotid artery, it lies over here on the both sides. Okay. Internal carotid artery, it lies over here. Look carefully. This is the internal carotid artery. Okay. Now, these arteries, after running posteriorly in the siphon pattern, here it terminates into its two terminal branches. Here it will terminate at this very side. It will terminate into its two terminal branches. And what are those branches? Because you are getting what? Posterior cerebral artery from the basilar system, isn't it? Posterior cerebral artery it is getting from the basilar system. So you have to go for two other important arteries which will supply the anterior, the middle aspect of the cerebral hemisphere. That's why this internal carotid is only the source, nothing else. So it will divide into its two terminal branches. Okay. This is the continued path going to the middle cerebral artery and the terminal branch. It is here. It is running upwards. This artery, it is running upwards. Anterior cerebral artery. What is the relation of this anterior cerebral artery with the optic nerve? Anyone? This anterior cerebral artery will run ventral to this ventral aspect of this optic nerve. Okay? And where it will go? From both the sides. It will go towards the which fissure? The longest fissure of the brain. That is the medial sagittal fissure. The fissure which is dividing the two cerebral hemisphere. Okay. So it will move forwards and medially. This is the anterior cerebral artery in pair. Anterior cerebral artery in pair. And the relation with the optic nerve of this artery is, it is ventral to this nerve. And then after crossing the optic nerve, okay, here suppose this optic nerve going inside and it will cross over this artery, will cross here, anterior cerebral artery, and it will move forwards and medially, both the sides. Okay, and then the force will be on which surface? On the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. It will move forwards and medially